again, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of The Legend of the Three Kingdoms. This is my custom D&D game set in my messed up, screwed up world, and the people below me are the people that are playing with their awesome characters and an owlbear. For those of you that might have missed the last session or whatever, let's just kind of dive into it. We'll get to that as we get to that. So recently, the party had come across this really strange area. The ground had been transformed into coral. There was this water everywhere, and in the middle of Fenrish, this was a weird thing to see. Fenrish, at least this part of it, generally tends to be kind of a kind of swampy, desolate area, very wild, specifically so lots of dangerous animals will thrive out there. So the residents of Fenrish can go out and hunt them to show how awesome they are. But as they investigated it, they found basically a window into an ocean, as far as they could tell. An ocean with an extremely large creature in it. And as the party kind of dealt with this, they found a werewolf trapped in a silver bladed cage at the bottom of this lake. They accidentally freed it, and as it was starting to attack them, a bunch of blood hunters, it looks like, just appeared out of nowhere, killed it, and the largest one pointed his very large sword at the party and started interrogating them. Right as the fun was about to start, the portal itself collapsed, and the entire area started to shake and shift, and they had to run away from it in order to save their lives. Unfortunately, Henri was not quite able to get out of the blast radius. A pretty large explosion happened. This sphere of destruction expanded and expanded, enveloping Henri and the terrain around it for over 100 feet. And then after everything happened, it disappeared, leaving an almost perfect spherical crater with no traces of Henri or any of the terrain that had just been demolished. Going, the party, as they were trying to kind of deal with this, suddenly heard again the sound of a weapon being unsheathed, as that very large blood hunter werewolf, whom some of them recognized as the current leader of and war chief of Fenrish, started growling at them. And that is where we are going to pick it up.
So, quick question.
Sure.
My ring of mind shielding.
Mm-hmm.
Can I turn that off?
Yeah,
or will I have to take it off?
You can, I believe you can allow people to read your thoughts, but
It's
it's entirely voluntary for you. So you have to
okay.
let them do it. There's no way for them to force their way to do it.
Okay, because the in particular the ability for people not to determine whether I'm lying
Hmm.
magically, I want to turn that off.
Okay.
So, and then I will address this large beast and be like, "Look, we were traveling through."
Well, let me
Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead and set this scene first.
Okay.
So, a few like 10 or 15 minutes ago, the air was filled with a salty spray. Um, there was moisture all around. It felt very refreshing. You could hear water flowing in various directions and animal sounds you're not used to hearing in Fenrish. Little frogs, some birds, things like that. Thank you, Elias. Um, However, now everything is silent. The natural sounds of nature that you normally hear in Fenrish, uh, almost like someone has turned them off. Um, the rest of you are kind of dealing with the incredible destruction you just barely escaped from. Uh, the fact that one of your party members and possibly friends, depending on the character, is not with you is very slowly starting to set in. And as all of you are trying to deal with the deafening silence, you hear this very loud, and you see the war chief start stepping towards you very forcefully. He draws his great sword, points it at the nearest one to him, which at this particular point, I'm going to roll for it. That's cool. Is Liliane. Liliane, as you're sitting there kind of coming to your senses, you hear the growl and you suddenly see a shining blade pointed at you from about a distance of about 5 feet. So he's not quite within melee yet, but having seen him fight before and being familiar with blood hunters in general, despite the fact you might belong to a different order, you know 5 feet is not a large distance for him to cover.
No.
So he points the sword after growling, goes, "What have you done?"
Oh,
And he didn't address it at you, Liliane. It was just kind of to everyone. You just happen to be the closest dude he can point his sword at. So anyone can
I
respond.
I I will step forward and just be like, "Look, we were passing through. We came across this inland ocean. Um, we tracked it back to that portal. Down below there was a werewolf trapped in some kind of cage that was feeding off him. Every time he'd move, it would drain blood to power this abomination. And we destroyed the device, which freed the thing. Thank you for killing it, by the way. But that's what stopped that portal that you saw a few minutes ago. That was us stopping it. Now, my friend died as a result of this, and or disappeared or something, and we need to go find him."
You know an awful lot for people who just stumbled across this.
it's not the first. Wait, am I muted?
Nope.
No, I can hear
Okay.
you.
Not the first time we've run across it. It's blood magic. Blood magic. And I kind of look in the direction that Sanguinius would be.
Are you trying to tell me those bloodsuckers have invaded my kingdom?
I don't think it's the Council of Blood. We think it's a rogue faction of vampires. They've also been conducting experiments in Sanguinius and Valkovia.
You can see he's getting more and more angry, and you guys can actually start seeing little bits of fur, like his beard starts to get a little scragglier. You can watch his eyes start to shift a little bit. Vala, you can actually feel the change coming on from your previous experience. And you suddenly see a hand appear on his shoulder as a very muscular woman kind of steps forward a little bit and places herself in front of the war chief. You hear her say, Gilead. And you're actually surprised a little bit at how soft-spoken she is after seeing how deadly she was just a few moments ago. Gilead. Not now. They are worth more to us alive. And you see him slowly start to calm himself down. Then she turns. You, she points at Argenta. How do you know of this blood magic?
We've run into several of these. There's actually one nearby. There was this one. All of them seem to have this same situation where they have a cage or some sort of thing where they can bind a person, bleed them while keeping them alive, and the area fills with blood. And it derives power from that.
You see this kind of look of concern on her face as she seems to kind of step back and start considering. You see a much shorter man kind of step forward, who's obviously a dwarf now that the more feral features have faded away. And he goes right up to you, Argenta. And how are we to believe random people who just shown up here? You had already been dealing with this abomination of a were creature. I don't trust him, Gilead. I say we kill them all now. Make it easy.
I wouldn't do that. The king of Valakovia would be very upset.
Gilead looks at you. Do you claim to be in the service of the king?
We do.
Do you carry any proof that Matthias has given you some sort of command? Anyone can claim they are sent by the king, especially this far away from his sovereign borders.
I kind of look at the group. Is anyone carrying anything?
I do not have anything. I don't know if Breach got something. Or Commander.
The
Or
fact that neither are here.
actually, if I remember correctly, Henri oh.
Yeah, no, we do. Oh, damn. As you all kind of stutter and worry, Preach kind of appears,
Okay.
having been very good at keeping herself hidden, despite the fact that you guys, there's no cover here. Priest walks forward, and a few of the war chief's companions kind of draw their weapons, and Preach just continues to walk very nonchalantly, very non-threatening. She has her hands up and very clear that there's nothing in it. She comes very close to wow, there's a lot of names. Gweniet whispers something in her ear. Gweniet looks at her for a moment, whispers something to the war chief. Story may have more evidence than I assumed. You still have not answered who it was that did this.
If I had a name, you'd have a head. Its head.
He looked at you weird for a second and like.
No, sorry, that was not. If we knew who was behind this, we would gladly point you in the direction.
Who was that? And Argenta kind of looks at you, and she's just like, "Who's that guy from Dorme again that we kind of haven't heard of for a very long time?"
I forget his name.
Yeah.
I lost my notes from the beginning.
To keep this story going, we can just invoke his name because I actually don't have those notes in front of me.
Oh yes, it was Lord.
Lord. So, the war chief goes. This name is not familiar to me. Not member of the Blood Council.
When we were in Sanguinius, he was trying to take over a small town called Dorme. It was the first time we had run into anything like this, but it wasn't like this. It was to a plane of fire, and it summoned an elemental, some sort.
Blood magic. Weaklings using power they do not know, cannot control, to try and become strong. You see him just kind of brooding. Gweniet comes up. There is very little chance that with a setup so elaborate, someone would not be coming to check on it. Perhaps they are near enough that we can find them. The war chief turns back to you guys. I do not trust you, but I have no reason to kill you yet. if our paths cross again, pray to whatever god you worship that they are on better terms. And he just kind of turns abruptly, lets out a howl, and starts running off. And the rest of the blood pack, as they're known, kind of goes off with him.
That was pleasant. It was just like the stories. Amazing.
Okay, so we need to get back to Celeste. She contacted me just before. Who was that again? I'm
The
looking at the others.
He's the. In your terms, he's the king.
Did I just yell at the king?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, well, we have to get back to Celeste.
It's a very hands-on, claws-on, greatsword on king.
Sorry, I must have. I felt the werewolf rising in me, and I lost a packmate, and yes. So I don't know if there's anything else we can learn by here. If we want to stop by that camp again that we found was that last night?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But
it seems longer, like weeks and weeks of the past.
like months. It's been so long.
Yeah.
But we should hurry.
I mean, for all we know, Henri is either in the bottom of an ocean, in a plane we can't get to, or he's dust.
I agree, but Celeste. Sorry, I forgot you guys can't hear her. Celeste contacted me just a minute ago. She felt something with Henri and said that we should get back to her.
All right.
I mean, if you guys don't want to take the journey back, I could go alone, but then you'll have to fight me as either a vampire or a werewolf.
Yes, you'll get lost in the woods, and we know what happens when you go alone and you get lost.
Okay, then. So it's only like a day away.
All right.
Let's
I'll
get
wait
back.
for it.
Good idea. As I start heading east. Oh, no. This way. In fairness, it was different when we came here. I'm all turned around. Do you know how long it's been since I slept in a tavern?
As you guys start to try and find this abandoned campsite you used before, who wants to lead the party?
I'll leave.
Okay, you just need a survival check. It is a little bit further away, so.
All right. Natural 20.
Yeah, you have no problem. When you guys finish dealing with the rift, it was about midday, and you guys get to the campsite right about an hour after twilight, where the very last bits of light are. Excuse me. Very last bits of light are fading from the sky.
I will make a campfire.
Of course. So Vala invokes her connection to fire, and a campfire appears. The rest of you kind of set up camp, and even this far way, at least a couple miles away from this thing. Um, Something still feels off about nature. Some of the natural sounds have returned, but not enough. The air still feels weird, and all of you almost have this kind of buzzing feeling on your skin, like you've been awake too long.
Hmm.
Would you guys like to do anything before you head off to bed?
Yeah, I'll just kind of go to one of the trees and kind of like poke at it with my hand axe and see if it's like it looks, or if it's like it was in Dorme, where it looked like a tree, but it didn't feel like a tree.
Okay. So as you start hacking into this tree, the tree itself is like half dead. So at first you're cutting through the dead wood, but the very core of the tree still had some life in it. So eventually you do get to living tree, and it seems to be a normal tree.
At least it's not that. All right.
Any thing else from anyone else?
No.
Okay.
I'm just going to be taking the ring of mind shielding,
Mm-hmm.
which is the only thing we have left of Henri,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just going to have that like I'm just going to be kind of worrying at it while staring at the fire.
Okay. Do you guys want to set up a watch, or just get some sleep?
I can take
Oh,
I can take second watch.
I'll take last watch.
Okay. So you guys kind of divide the night up into uh, 4 watches, and Commander will take an unnamed watch. As you all start your rotating, Lillian and everyone really, you notice that nothing is happening at night. Not just like it's a slow night, even on a relatively safe night in Fenrish. There are scavengers that will see the fire and come and investigate, then go away. Other things in the night that hunt at night, you would hear things like werewolves and other canines out there hunting. There was nothing tonight. Dead silence for the most. Even when the wind blew through the branches and things like that, it sounded hollow. Eventually, you all get your rest. You wake up in the morning, and start packing up your camp. The wilderness seems slightly more towards its normal self, but still something feels off.
Argenta, do you sense any weirdness? Is it just me?
No, I've been sensing it too. It, maybe whatever influence that portal had in the aftermath, taking a bit of time.
Argenta, go ahead and roll me a wisdom check.
Okay. Wisdom. 16.
As you're sitting there and Vivala asks you that, you finish what you just said, and then suddenly it's like someone punched you in the gut, and you actually lose your footing for a second and drop down to your hands and knees.
Genta, you okay?
Yeah, I was. Were you okay?
I'm just kind of like, I raise an eyebrow and I'm kind of trying to make sense of what that feeling was.
Suddenly, again, you feel this just weird feeling, this time slightly higher in your chest, like someone just knocked the wind out of you. And you again kind of drop down as you try to catch your breath.
I'm going to activate my portal sense just to see if it's that.
Okay? As you do, you feel almost like your head is exploding in pain for a moment, and then you open your eyes and you see clearer than you've ever seen anything before. This kind of laser line to the northeast that just goes straight. And as you blink and kind of get back to yourself, the vision of this like beam of light going straight to the northeast fades, but you, even with your portal sense kind of turned off for whatever reason, in your mind's eye, there's just this laser.
So I kind of get to my feet and I'm just like, so I did that weird portal thing that I can do again, and I think another one opened. So this way.
Oh, you're kidding.
Oh.
So I'm gonna start taking them in that direction, I guess.
All right.
Yeah.
As you keep going, you keep getting these strange pains. Sometimes in the pit of your stomach, sometimes in your chest, sometimes in your head, right behind your eyes. It's very different from the portals you've experienced thus far. There hasn't been any pain involved in them thus far.
This is a weird portal. It's a painful portal, if that makes any sense.
As a polar, what we've been fighting.
Well, in normal portals are just kind of like you get this weird tingly feeling all over your body. This is a painful portal.
That sounds unpleasant.
So maybe a separate one, not that affiliated with whatever the vampire doing.
If any of you ever want to find people displaced through time and space again and then have a near-death experience, you can also become a portal person.
Nope, I'm good.
Yeah, the okay.
As you guys continue going, the feeling of this just laser beam in your mind gets stronger and stronger and more focused. What's everyone's passive perception?
15.
Okay.
See here. 17, no. 16, there we go.
Okay. And Lillian?
You're muted.
What now?
Your passive perception?
Passive 16.
Okay. So as you guys are traveling along the valley, you're not really noticing much, and Argenta, you are a bit distracted by the pain. But Lillian, you notice as you guys are going, you're getting into an area that is obviously a hunting ground. You start seeing half-eaten carcasses of animals. You start smelling blood in the air. And just before you go into a pretty heavily wooded area, Lillian, you see some movement out of the corner of your eye.
I drop it towards it. You order some kind of hurt to active predator active in the area.
What was the last part? You draw your sword. What?
And I tell the party that there's some kind of predator in the area.
So,
And I point out where I saw the movement.
okay. So Lillian kind of points to the area where she saw the whatever it was. You guys, my internet streaming just
Oh.
died.
Oh,
There we go.
there it is.
Can you guys still hear me?
Yep,
I
we can now.
hear I mean, when I go away, I the wildlife in the area.
You've been here before. Give me just a second for my bit rate to come back up. Elias says we're fine, so. Well, I'm recording it, so if you miss any of the episodes tonight, it will be on my YouTube channel. So you've been here before, Lillian. So go ahead and make me an intelligence check.
18.
Okay. Thinking and kind of seeing the corpses and things like that you've seen around, you're not 100% certain what it is, but it fits the pattern of a large apex predator type creature.
I tell him that a big predator. I don't know exactly. Maybe a werewolf. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. But it definitely a big predator.
Hmm.
As you guys are kind of trying to figure it out, you suddenly feel this through the ground. You see the trees in front of you shake a little bit. Another shake. You start hearing cracking sounds as whatever this creature is. It seems to be wandering around in this heavily wooded area and is breaking trees.
I am going to kind of dart off to the side and like get them to follow me so that we can maybe hide from it.
Okay.
It's coming in the
Hey,
direction.
oh, follow.
I will follow as well.
Okay. Go ahead and make me stealth checks.
Mm. Mm.
All right.
So, Vala.
14.
All right. Lillian.
13.
Argenta.
15.
So you guys all find kind of a tipped over tree and crouch down behind it. Go ahead and give me perception checks.
24.
19.
15 again.
So Argenta, you're kind of focused on, just finding areas that you guys have the most cover in. Lillian, you're scanning around and trying to figure out what kind of creature could be large enough to be making those sounds. As it's going through your head, you're thinking of large carnivorous creatures. You're like, well, no, bears don't generally rattle trees. Panthers are a lot quieter than that. Dire wolves travel in packs. And you're just kind of going through all these different things. Vala, you have a little bit better sign, and you see through the trees leathery skin moving. And as you kind of stare and try and get a better look, you notice a very large, very round tree that looks very solid from where you're looking. Suddenly, the tree moves, and another thud, and you see something following the tree, connecting to the tree, very long. And then you hear this ear-piercing howl, louder than anything you've ever heard before, as the tree closest to you falls down, and a Tyrannosaurus Rex starts coming out. You see the creature comes out into the kind of semi-clearing you guys are at the edge of. You can see it's sniffing a little bit, looking around.
Guys, its vision is based on movement.
I was not about to say that. Don't move.
I heard about it in this one tale.
Oh,
As it's sitting there, you hear.
Um,
Very quickly, all four of you are given advantage on your next. Let's just call it inspiration. I'll have to change that in there. But Elias is kind enough to give you all inspiration.
Thank you.
yeah. Thanks.
As that's happening, you see the T-Rex has now turned and is facing where you are all hiding, and is slowly getting closer and closer.
Any ideas, guys?
I don't think its smell is based on movement.
It's getting faster. Faster.
Guys, I think we need to move.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry, Lillian. And I cast... Oh, God, no. Guys, I think we need to move.
I'm going to, let's see, Salva, there we go. I will touch the back of Vala because she's probably the one that needs it more, and I cast Long Strider.
Okay.
I will cast the other two, or I'll touch the other two, and cast invisibility.
Alright.
So, who all was invisible then now, Vala?
Oh, that's right. Argenta and Lillian. Sorry, Commander.
Commander is off doing his own thing, not involving dying when he's not here. Only kill players that are here. So, Argenta, as you kind of touch Vala, you just feel your legs kind of tense up a little bit and then relax, and then your legs feel great. And then right as that happens, Vala kind of touches Argenta and Lillian on the shoulders, and then you guys disappear. At this point, the giant T-Rex comes barreling through your hiding spot. And does a 22 hit your armor class, Vala?
Funny story. It does.
So you take 20 bludgeoning damage.
Oof.
As
Ooh.
it goes past you guys and kind of through you guys, knocking both Lillian and Argenta prone, but not doing them any damage. Vala, as you kind of just lean out of the way, the massive tail of the creature comes and smacks you and hits you back about 5 feet as you are, as the air is knocked out of you.
Okay. I am going to start running in the direction we were heading before,
Okay.
and I am going to so I'm going to run 40 feet, and then I'm going to run another 40 feet as my action, and then as a bonus action, I'm going to Misty Step another 30 feet.
Okay.
Alright.
So, as you start running, the T-Rex gives chase and just boom, going as fast as it can. As you double run and Misty Step, this T-Rex is keeping pace. You're gaining just barely 10 feet on it as it is just running as fast as it can, knocking over trees and everything. But you're about, 110 feet away from where you were?
Yes.
Okay. Lillian Argenta, as you are prone and invisible, you've just watched this giant creature run away.
I see that it's going in the general direction Vala went, and I'm just like, fucking hell, this wasn't what I meant. So I'm just like, we're gonna have to kill it, Lillian, and I get to my feet,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna run after it, and in my invisible state, I'm just like, she knew I was gonna break this, and I'm gonna shoot an arrow at the T-Rex.
Right, everyone, roll for an initiative.
Oh god, I hope I roll higher than the T-Rex.
Oh, so two.
Oh god.
There's not a whole lot.
I can use initiative on, or I can use inspiration on that, right?
Any roll you want.
God damn.
Vala.
Well, I rolled higher.
Cool. Vala, what'd you get?
With inspiration, I got a 7.
Good use of inspiration. Lillian?
15.
Argenta?
19.
I still haven't rolled for the initiative, so it's possible I roll worse. And it's a big lumbering creature. It might not have a great initiative.
It rolls a 22.
Please let it be a 6.
Guess you'll find out.
For the 6, it was a clutch use of my inspiration.
Oh no. Audrey, what was that sad face, happy face about? Or who once was Audrey?
That was in response to stuff Jody was saying.
Uh,
All right, so we're going to go at the top of the order, which is Argenta.
okay.
Argenta, because you started initiative, we're going to start with your attack, and then you will have your actual turn in an initiative itself. So you're going to roll the attack first.
Okay, so if I got up and then half my movement because I was prone.
We're gonna say the attack happened before an initiative started, so you're not in an initiative yet for the attack.
Oh, I'm just wondering how far I am from the T-Rex because of my short bow's range.
Oh, well, it was basically the back of it, because it's huge, was 85 feet from where you were when you started, and you would have half your movement, so it should be about 70.
Okay, I'm in short range then, so I can attack with advantage from invisibility, which is a good thing because that was a crap roll. 15.
15 hits. Roll down to the damage.
That's gonna be 6 damage.
All right, as you just sit there and go, Lillian, you hear some movement. You see the leaves rustling and bits of grass being squished down. And then Argenta just kind of blinks about 15 feet ahead of you as she lets loose this arrow that sinks into the thick hide of the T-Rex, who howls in anger and kind of skids to a stop. And then it's your turn, Argenta.
All right, so 2 more arrows for T-Rex. Okay, it looks like 18 and 25.
Both hit. Go ahead and roll the damage.
8. I rolled max both times, so 16 damage total.
Not bad. All right, so you sit there and you fire off 2 more arrows in quick succession as the entire beast swings around and looks like it's starting to head towards you. And you can see kind of the bloodshot eyes. You can see little bits of whatever it ate last hanging from its very massive teeth. Anything else you wanted to do?
Yeah, I'm going to back up 10 feet, drop the bow, and get ready, pull out my melee weapons and stuff.
Okay. That brings us to the next creature in initiative. Lillian.
Alright, so how far back is it from me?
The back of it is 85 feet from you, and you are currently invisible and prone.
I will. I can't. I'll get up and I'll move it out of the way to the feet of 50 at the end. Firebase crop around it.
Okay, so you kind of hop up. You bring your crossbow up. You can roll with advantage.
Yeah, and I'll do that. Well, I don't need it.
That's 20.
Yeah.
All right, roll the damage.
So that would be 220. So that would be 11 total damage.
All right, I have to do my math really quick here. All right, so you sit there and you fire off a shot, and it goes right into its rib cage, going past the actual ribs itself and piercing something. It lets out a howl as you wink into existence, and it starts rushing towards the both of you.
Save
So,
Lily. Or save Vala, I mean.
yep.
Any the thing else you want to do? Still have a bonus action if you want.
I will get out the way of the until get my baby weapons ready.
Okay, so
My
you're just gonna drop the crossbow then and get the longsword ready.
Yeah.
Okay. Now for the next creature in an initiative, the T-Rex. It's bounding forward faster than you think should be possible for a creature that size. Each step shakes the ground as it comes forward. It dives forward, trying to bite at Argenta. Does a 25 hit you?
Yeah, that hit.
You take 33 piercing damage.
Alright.
And you are grappled and restrained as it picks you up in its mouth and continues chomping on you, attempting to bite you in half. As it does that, it swings around, and its very large tail, Lillian, comes towards you.
Where's the one?
It does a 13 hit you.
Yeah.
Is that a yes or no?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it comes around and right in your ribs. You cough up a little blood as you take 20 bludgeoning damage. As that happens, Vala, you hear steps getting louder and louder behind you as you're just running. Suddenly, the steps get quieter slightly, and the creature keeps roaring, and then you hear a crunching sound, a slurping sound, and then an oof, a feminine oof.
I just I take a look back and go, ah, crap, and I assume it's my turn now.
Yeah.
Okay. I start running back, so I will use my action to go 40 feet. Sorry, no. I use my movement to go 40 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still then. I'm guessing I'm like 60 feet? No, 70 feet from them?
Let's call it 60 to use easy numbers.
Okay. In that case, I will use Vicious Mockery on it
Okay.
and scream out, "What do you call a T-Rex that can't accept defeat? A SAR loser!"
That hurt.
Oh no, I need to take psychic damage.
What kind of roll is it?
It's a wisdom saving throw.
Does a
Somehow.
16 work?
It does not. Needed a 17.
All right. So how much damage does it take from that truly
That-
bad joke?
That massive 2d4. Let's go.
It takes four points of damage.
Somehow
And-
Henri felt that.
And has disadvantage on its next attack roll.
Cool.
And I will inspire Argenta by saying, "Can you do it? You bet your ass again."
Right,
Did-
eventually, you're going to start taking psychic damage.
Sure it wasn't Vala that got sucked into the portal and not Henri?
As you guys are all dealing with this rather massive threat, you suddenly hear this very wild kind of screech, almost to Tarzan yell kind of thing, and from behind a tree you see a very odd sight. If you would like to describe yourself.
It's kind of funny you described Tarzan because I was literally going to say looks like a blue Tarzan with nothing but like the Tarzan attire.
Okay.
Skin completely blue and not constantly sweating. I have a quarterstaff that just looks like a bunch of coral intertwined that's holding a blue gem aloft up at the top.
As this figure steps out in a loincloth carrying a weird stick, it screams out, and what do you want to do?
How far away am I?
You would have been kind of on the outside here, so let's say at the beginning of your turn, you're about 100 feet away from Lillian and Argenta, and then Vala's another 60 beyond that.
Okay. I would assume, with my character's backstory, I would perceive the T-Rex as the bigger threat, correct?
Yeah, you've actually been kind of cat and mousing with the T-Rex
Okay.
for the past few hours, and it suddenly smelled something different and ran away, and you've been kind of following it to see what it would do. Definitely the largest creature you've seen thus far.
Okay, I will... Let me double check the range on this. No, I won't do that.
I should mention, I forgot to mention this. You guys have been following this laser line for about 2 days, since it was in a similar direction to Celeste. So.
Right.
Is there a way? Actually, no, I don't necessarily know who's friendly because I forgot new character who does. I'm going to cast.
You see, there are 3 creatures that are similar in size to you, and 1 creature that's a la bigger and has sharp teeth.
I'm gonna cast Tidal Wave closer towards the back of the T-Rex to hope just to hit just it.
Yeah,
It's
it's
been tormenting me.
it is a huge beast, so yeah, you can aim it to kind of hit its back legs.
Okay.
You are going to
Dex
have to
saving
tell me
throw.
what I need to do, though.
Dex saving throw of 17.
It got us. This is 16.
It then takes. Oh, really? Wow. Okay. 8 points of bludgeoning damage and is knocked prone.
Okay, Argenta, go ahead and make me a strength save. Okay. You're muted, Argenta.
24.
Okay. As you see, you hear this massive rush of water, almost making you think another of these rifts have formed. You suddenly feel yourself falling as the T-Rex, in whose mouth you are currently residing, falls down hard. As it hits the ground, you hit the ground with it, and it kind of yells in pain, and you get thrown from it about 10 feet. As you kind of roll along the ground, you brace your knee on the ground and kind of get up into a crouched position. So you are no longer grappled and restrained, but you got lots of holes in you.
That would be my turn. I'm going to stay where I am in the safety of my tree.
Really? Why? Argenta.
Now that I'm like free and I see that it's knocked down, I kind of laugh, and as I rush forward, it turns into like that snarl that wolves give when they go after prey, and I'm going straight for its neck with my frost dagger now. And I'm raging.
Right? You guys hear another scream that's much more familiar to you as Argenta just goes flying forward with his dagger.
And it's prone, right?
Yes, so advantage.
18 to hit.
It definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
That's going to be 8 piercing and 3 cold. So 11.
Right.
And then for the second attack, that's going to be a 20 to hit
It definitely hits.
for 9 piercing and 3 cold, so 12.
Right. You go in, and as you start stabbing into it, as you bring the knife blade back, you can see little bits of frostbite on it as you stab a couple of times. You still have 20 feet of movement if you want to move around it all.
No, I'll stay there.
All right. Lillian, it's on the floor, and your friend, while holier now, is upright and attacking it. So what do you want to do?
Everybody, well, wait, everybody is right.
Yeah, you. It was within about 10 feet of you before when it
Oh,
because it hit you with its tail, so, or tried to hit you with its tail.
I didn't want to serve all the movement, but I will set my other out of my cruiser wallet
Okay.
and attack it.
So Lillian lets a little of her blood flow. The sword erupts in flame, or which right are you using?
The cruiser, so that flame.
Okay. So sword alights. She comes forward, swinging it at the prone T-Rex.
So it flows right
Advantage on any attacks. All melee attacks will have advantage. All ranged will have disadvantage.
That will be 18 for that.
Definitely hits.
So,
You want to roll your second attack and just add the damage together.
that will be 26 for
That
that.
one misses. Go ahead and
So,
roll your damage.
So that would be eight and a plus 8 will be 16 plus my 2 for Julie, it will be 20 plus 28 total damage.
That was a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
2, 4, and then the 6. Then I add this number. Cool. So you sit there and you carve into the creature, scorching some of its flesh as you stab into it. He's barely showing signs of being hurt with how thick his skin is. Anything else you want to do?
No.
Cool. T-Rex gets up and it kind of howls out. It looks at the two of you and then looks up at the strange blue M&M colored creature in the distance, and it bolts, going full tilt straight at the newest addition to this encounter, but it doesn't have quite enough speed to get to you this turn. Argenta and Lillian, you can make a opportunity attack if you want.
Sure. 24
T-Rex
to
is
hit.
8 water.
And that will be 23 to hit.
You both miss. Yeah. Go ahead and roll the damage.
10 damage total, 3 of it's cold. I don't think that matters.
No.
Yeah, 14 damage, whatever the fire matters.
Okay. So as you both kind of cut into it, you see a little bit of blood trickling down its leg as it just goes. And it's now 75 feet away from you guys. Vala.
This means it is closer to me now, correct?
No, the blue guy was in the opposite direction, so it's now 135 feet from you.
Oh man! All right, so I remind me if I cast a spell like Misty Step,
Mm-hmm.
which is a bonus action but a leveled spell, can I then use a cantrip as my action?
Yes.
Okay, so I will run 40 feet for my movement.
Mm-hmm.
I will Misty Step another 30 feet to get closer,
Mm-hmm.
and
You're right next to Lillian and Argenta.
okay, and then I'm still within 120 feet, so I can use Firebolt.
Mm-hmm.
And I will, as I'm casting Firebolt, I will yell out, "What do you get when you cross a Tyrannosaurus Rex with explosives? Dynamite!"
No.
I like puns, but these are bad for puns.
And I am so like I'm laughing so hard at my own stupidity that I roll a natural 1, and the Firebolt just goes off into the distance.
Pick even or odd.
Odd.
Firebolt goes wide, super wide. Nowhere even in the same ballpark as this massive 30-foot high dinosaur. The phrase broadside of a barn just kind of floats into your head. And you very quickly check to see if your shield of your ring of mind shielding is on. It's obviously must be some sort of telepathic attack.
Yes. That's just...
Luckily enough, it didn't hit any of the dry brush around that would have started a fire.
This is not on brand for me. I just start tapping the thing. Is this thing on? Is this thing on?
Tempest.
How close is it to me now?
It's about 30 feet, or 25 feet. Sorry.
Okay, let's start with a Ray of Frost. Okay, yeah, this guy can roll. What happened to that last time? 25 to hit, apparently.
That misses, unfortunately. He has a plus 42 to armor class against cold things cast by people that look like M&Ms.
14 points of cold damage. His speed's reduced by 10. His speed's reduced by 10, and I will spend 2 sorcery points to cast Dimension Door as a bonus action and go about 30 feet behind the angry individual that really hurt this thing. So behind Argenta.
Oh, okay.
I don't know a name,
okay.
though.
Yeah,
Oh
and
wait,
so
now I'm
you
in front.
said angry, and then so you guys will watch as with one hand he fires off a ray of a frost, and then with another one you watch him just blink out of existence, and suddenly you hear something behind you. And Tempest, I'd like you to roll on the wild magic table for me.
Okay, hold up. Ooh. Let's hope it's not the fireball. 1 second, I gotta check numbers. Okay, it says up to 3 creatures I choose. Can I choose nobody?
If you want, it says up to.
The T-Rex isn't within 30 feet anymore, so I'm just going to choose nobody as lightning shoots off in all directions, doing 4d10 lightning damage.
So, as it does say that you choose, it doesn't.
Up to 3 creatures you choose within 30 feet of you take 4d10 lightning damage on a 66.
As long as it says choose.
Yeah, I was making sure.
Even or odd.
We'll go with odd.
And we'll again.
Even.
One more the time.
Even.
So you guys watch as this blue creature kind of disappears, appears behind you, and then this burst of lightning from the heavens just rains down around you. You guys kind of dodge out of the way as it goes. The first two just kind of strike the ground and leave scorched spots. The third one erupts, and you can see a fire starting about 5 feet away from Lillian. So you now feel toasty warm.
I did my sword when it hit me wrong enough.
That brings us back to the top of the order. Argenta, there's a fire next to you, and a T-Rex about 75 feet away.
All right, so I'm going to. Can I, as an action, sheath and unsheath my dagger?
What?
Because once per day I can put out non-magical fires that way. But I'm also raging, so I wouldn't think about that.
Theoretically, I could say using your action, you could do that.
But yeah, I do have the quarry in front of me. I'm just gonna dash up to the T-Rex.
Okay, so Tempest, as soon as you appear, you start a fire, and then Argenta runs away from you towards the T-Rex. Apparently, he prefers getting eaten to burned, from what you can gather.
And then
Things running.
once I'm in the face of the T-Rex, I just point my dagger at it, and I mark it with Planar Warrior.
Okay. So in your mind's eye, there's now this kind of a flashing beacon on this creature. Brings us to Lillian. You have a new friend and a new light source.
Yeah. And then T-Rex is like 75 feet away or something like that.
Yep. It did a full tilt run towards Tempest. Then got pissed off because he just disappeared.
Yeah, real Tempest everywhere it could be.
So the T-Rex is in front of you. Tempest is behind you, about the 30 feet.
I will turn around and explode Tempest and ask them who they are and what they're doing here.
So Tempest, in the middle of the dinosaur attack, you have a meet and greet. Really, you guys could exchange, let's say, like a couple sentences.
Like, that's a good question. Not sure.
Well, that's interesting, right?
Yeah.
I'll say that was your interact with an object. If you want any more conversation, it's going to cost your action.
Do that fine. I mean, the T-Rex is so far, but I'm not really not worried about it right now. So I think it might turn.
Cool. It's T-Rex's turn. He kind of does a drift turn. Starts, or no, he's just gonna take another bite out of crime, or
With disadvantage.
with disadvantage. Yep, which is good because that was a 22 for his first attack. How about a 19?
Still hit.
Hold up.
33 piercing damage,
Have.
and you are now grappled and restrained.
Okay.
And while it has you in its mouth, it's going to use its movement to head back towards the rest of the group.
Little does it know this is exactly where I want to be.
Yeah, totally. Brings us back to Vala.
Okay, so oh god, no, I don't want to do that. That would just be stupid. Why would I do that? That's a horrible idea.
There's
I mean, I brought a
fire
wild-
next to you.
I brought a wild magic sorcerer to the table. You can't be more stupid.
Challenge accepted. I unsheath my 2 daggers.
Mm-hmm.
I will move towards the T-Rex.
Okay, at this point, it's 25 feet away from you.
Okay, I'll take I'll get like a running head start, move about 10 feet, and then I want to Misty Step onto its back. And drive both daggers in.
I'm gonna need an acrobatics check to not fall off, as you just appear 30 feet in the air.
Acrobatics, perfect. Oh god.
Even your dice thinks this is a bad idea.
12.
As you get up there, you kind of start heading down towards the dinosaur, and the back of the dinosaur you're trying to land on shifts and moves a little bit, and you just bounce along the side. I will let you take one attack as you're falling down the side.
Alright, I will attack with the dagger of venom at least.
Go for it.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a lot. 25. No. Yeah, 25.
It's a giant dinosaur. It's got AC of 13.
Excellent. It takes 7 points of piercing, I believe. I believe it's piercing. And then I'd like to use... Oh no, I have to use an action to do the poison thing, so...
Yep. You have to kind of prep it beforehand.
Yeah.
All right, so as you sit there, you do stick the dagger in. You make a little hole. As you fall to the ground, taking the 13 bludgeoning damage as you land painfully.
Ah! That was cooler in my head!
And one of the massive feet of the T-Rex slams down right next to you. Tempest.
How far away is Vala from me?
30 plus 25, so 50, 5.
Perfect. As this is the only beast I've seen, I will polymorph Vala into a T-Rex, if willing.
You've seen other beasts. This is just the biggest. Vala, are you willing?
Yes.
remind me with wild magic. Is it anytime you cast a spell, or do you have to use the advantage thing again before I can make you roll?
It's just you can make me roll, or just you make me roll a d20, and then if I roll a 1,
Okay.
it's really up to you.
Yeah, with a polymorph, I'm gonna say roll. If you're gonna bring a T-Rex into a T-Rex fight, I'm gonna at least get a wild magic roll.
Interesting. So I rolled a 93, so my size is increased by 1 size for the next minute, so I'm now large.
So Tempest sits there and just focuses magic. Vala, you suddenly get this image of a T-Rex in your head. You think, oh, that would be cool. Then you start getting bigger and bigger. Your arms go... and you are suddenly eye to eye with the T-Rex. Can you? A T-Rex is a challenge rating 8. Can you polymorph something that high?
It's equal to their challenge rating or level if they don't have one, character level.
Oh, so
Yeah, or the target's level if they don't have a challenge rating. So I can go up to 9 with players.
Cool. Yeah, this is gonna be. So Vavala's a T-Rex. As Tempest does that, Tempest grows to about 12 feet tall now. So what was Blue Tarzan is now Blue Behemoth. And all of that. Is anything else you want to do to screw up my encounter?
I'm just gonna start crying for no reason.
Okay. Too fat. Does this growth spell make me look fat? Argenta. Yes, tears of joy.
Hanging like partially out of its mouth, dagger still in hand. I'm just growling, being exactly where I want to be, as I'm going to recklessly attack twice at its head.
With restrained, you'd be at a disadvantage, so it's a flat roll.
Yep.
Cool.
So the first attack is a 19.
Did it definitely hits?
Okay, and the second attack is going to be a 23.
But both hit. Go and roll the damage.
The first attack deals 7 plus 8 is 19 force damage. And the second attack deals 12 piercing and cold, combined.
All right, so you start picking chunks of creature out of its teeth with your dagger, scarring the gums a little bit. Anything else you want to do as you're held, 20-ish feet in the air?
Nope.
Cool. Argenta, the person you were interrogating, who you used to be at eye level with, you're now at about, belt level.
Oh, you mean Lillian?
Lillian, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I think I was, the T-Rex of the movie was, how far away is it?
Right now, since you move back towards the Tempest, it is 55 feet away from you.
Alright, so I will move 30 feet towards it and hold my action for it to get rid. Hold my attack action for it to get rid of my enemy.
Okay, so you just bring your flaming longsword up and just get ready for it to come
Yeah.
closer. the T-Rex now has something else to deal with. It sees this massive creature next to it. So it's gonna start by. No, it's gonna chomp on you. That's a nat 20.
Okay.
So my math is hard. You take the 59 piercing damage as it just chomps into you.
I'm still conscious.
Then 27 to hit Vala, which does hit because I have your stats in front of me. Your current hit point total, by the way, 136.
Yes.
That will be 20 bludgeoning damage as it smacks you with its tail.
Oof. 26.
20 bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
That ends its turn. Vala.
Okay.
What does T-Rex self like to do?
Well, I think I want to chomp on that other T-Rex.
Okay. Do you have this as a stat block?
I do have the stat block.
Okay, cool. Then you got it.
Okay. So that's 20 to hit
Misses.
with a bite.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Really? Okay, so 3 plus 12, that's 27 hit, or 27 points of piercing damage.
Right, it's looking pretty rough as you bite into it.
And then I will attempt to hit it with a tail attack. I'm going to try.
Can't make both attacks against this is the same to target.
Ah.
If you look under the multi-attack.
I see that now. All right, then I will.
Just take a big old taste of T-Rex.
I will just like yell in its face then.
The best part of waking up is T-Rex in your cup.
I'll try to use cutting or vicious mockery, but it's just.
Dad jokes aren't as funny in T-Rex, apparently.
Apparently not.
That brings us to the Tempest. You are tall.
How far away is the T-Rex with the creature in its mouth from me?
5.
Okay, I'll just do Ray of Frost.
Go
Wrong button.
Go for
it. 20 not natural to hit.
It definitely hits.
11 points of cold damage, and the speed is reduced by 10 like it matters.
Which is hilarious, because it had 11 points, hit points left, so how do you want to do this? Oh, well, thanks for the bits, Elias.
I want to aim for the head and give him the worst brain freeze this thing has ever encountered.
Okay. Even or odd?
Odd.
All right. So you sit there, and Tempest in his large form just kind of puts his hands together and goes full Kamehameha wave. And he blasts this beam of freezing energy. It engulfs the head of the dinosaur, which contains our Gigenta, So Argenta, as you're there, you suddenly see this wave of cold white light come towards you. Suddenly, ice starts forming all around you. You feel the teeth that are piercing your body get colder and colder. Little icicles start to form on your nose, and suddenly you're falling again. A very familiar feeling to you since meeting this T-Rex. You slam into the ground and roll out of its mouth as Tempest just keeps moving forward, just pumping it full of ice. And by the time he finishes, the entire skull is encased in about 4 inches of ice, and the creature itself is dead.
So, weird question. It says I grow in size for the next minute. It doesn't say my equipment. So, am I holding a toothpick instead of my staff?
I'll say because the enlarge spell, which is what it's mimicking, increases your equipment as well. It's just
Okay.
Everything just got bigger. So the creature itself is dead. There's still a T-Rex sized Vala and shaped.
I would like to. How big is the fire now?
Good question. It's now covering roughly a 30-foot area. Basically, the whole area you guys used to be standing in is now fire.
I will,
Can I attempt to stomp it out as the T-Rex?
Sure. You take.
I'll be like,
Go ahead.
Vala, wait. I'll be like, Vala, wait. Valorix, wait.
I'll stop.
I'll go over to the fire, unsheath the dagger. 30 feet around me, non-magical fires are put out.
Okay. There's still a little area that was outside of it, but the vast majority of the fire is gone.
I will go pad out the other parts.
oh, okay. That works too. I was going to say, even though I didn't know you were going to do that, I'm still going to cast destroy or create water, since it's always cast at second level. It's a 35-foot cube just right on the area that Vala was going to put it out before, so essentially drenching the T-Rex as well.
Oh no, the T-Rex is far away. What you end up doing is covering Argenta in water, because Argenta had to be right next to it to put it all out. So after
Yeah, that's what
Argenta gets rid of
that's what I mean.
almost all of it, there's this torrential cube of water that just appears and drenches you, Argenta.
I kind of turn to look at him, see he's in no armor, and I'm just like, arcane bullshit, natural bullshit, or divine bullshit.
At this
Wait, I'm
point,
still-
Tempest, you slowly start
Okay.
shrinking.
Not quite sure. What happened?
I mean, we were walking, then a T-Rex attacked us. That was about it.
Argenta, you and Lillian would know the dinosaurs are not native to Fenrish, but like about 5 or 6 centuries ago, but before the planar barriers were broken, someone found them on a distant land that no one knows about, and brought them here specifically because they're really big and dangerous. So they're somewhat rare, but they do exist in Fenrish.
I will drop polymorph.
His Vala just shrinks down.
Well, that was interesting.
What was?
you need to be very careful with fires. It can be very dangerous, and they can get out of control rapidly, as you can see.
As Vala would know.
Yeah. Me baby.
Yeah,
Lord.
you just have your swords on fire. They're all talking about be very careful with fire.
Well, thank you for your help. And you are?
Yeah, we never got to finish our conversation.
Yes. My name is Vala. This is Liliane, and this is Argenta. And the quiet, stern one in the back is the commander, and somewhere in the shadows is probably Breach.
I don't quite understand what's happening.
What do you mean?
Where are we?
We're in Fenrish.
What's that?
Where are you from?
Another good question.
How did you get to a place you don't know?
I'll just start like cowering. I don't know.
It's okay. It's
So
okay.
Fenrish is one of the 3 kingdoms on this continent. You're in the middle of its jungles. It tends to be swampy jungle between the arenas. We run into a lot of weird displaced things, and I think this may be one of them. And I kind of look at the other 2.
What? Relax. You're among friends now. What is the last thing you remember?
What is the last thing I remember, Jody?
Really big creature tried to take a bite out of you.
I was
You just
scared.
you just killed it.
I was scared, and then I saw that thing, and now I don't know.
Do you have something you're called? Or do you not remember?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Go ahead. And it is a bit of a strange thing.
Yeah.
Full-grown man to suddenly just not know any of the thing.
I believe him. I'm over 4.
Yeah, it's surprisingly hard to read half-naked blue guys.
Yeah.
Trying to find Vegas.
Beg asks. Well, I would try to read your mind, but I can't do that today.
Not sure what that is.
Wait, what do you remember anything before and how that we could?
Nope.
Well, we are just about to go and meet someone who's very powerful who may be able to help you. All we have to do is follow this yellow brick road, and Celeste will solve all of our problems.
I immediately just start searching for an actual yellow brick road.
It's
Despite not knowing what a brick is, or the color yellow, seen as there's not really a bunch of yellow in this part of the world.
it's a figure of speech. a metaphor.
I kind of look at him and I'm just like, why are you sweating so much?
I'm actually
Like that.
not.
Come,
And
let
then,
us take
hold
our.
on. I'll cast Mage Armor. There, now I have the water effect. As
Oh,
no.
Come,
No,
let us
Mage
take
Armor.
our. Let us take our new gentleman friend and.
Wait, can I tell if it's human or something else?
Go ahead and roll me a history
True. Uh, 16.
So, looking at him, he seems human. Like he doesn't have the pointed ears you would normally see of elves. He doesn't have tusks or fangs that you might see in like a shifter or an orc. But the blue skin is very, very different, and his hair just seems off. Do you have hair, or are you bald?
I have hair unless I roll a certain wild magic thing that makes me bald.
So something about him is just like one step off of human. Physically, for the most part, proportionately, he looks human-ish. But there's something about him that definitely makes him not. But you've never seen or even read about a creature like this.
Hmm.
well,
Mm.
let's take him to see Light Lady.
Yeah, I guess.
Could have gotten there faster if I was still a T-Rex. Anyways, that's. Are you hungry? Have you eaten?
I'm not hungry.
Okay. Well, is it? Well, we'll
You've
we'll
got
start.
freezer burnt T-Rex right over there.
Yeah.
We can cook it. Those would be some massive ribs.
Yeah.
Really toughing game though.
Hmm.
Yeah. Good at it.
Argenta and Lillian, you guys would know. Killing a T-Rex is a big deal. Again, because they are somewhat rare, and they are massive and dangerous. Most people from Fenrish will take a trophy or something
Yeah.
to prove that they did it. So what's very common is either you take one of the teeth, which end up being like this, or one of the talons are the most common
Oh.
Well,
the
since the
things
head-
to take. And people,
I would.
go ahead.
I would think about taking a hamburger off.
Since the head's encased in ice, I'm going to be harvesting the talons.
Okay. The head itself would be a little bit too big to. I mean, you could, but you need a fashion something to carry it. So the head
Yeah.
itself is like a small Buick.
You could turn that into one heck of a bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the T-Rex with the armor.
Yeah, you if you'd like to, skinning it will take a lot more time than harvesting a single tooth or a talon, but you definitely can.
Oh.
If you want me to skin it, I can do that. We'll just be camping here.
Yeah, it would to actually be able to harvest the skin in a way that it could actually be useful will take a few hours. And at this point, you're at about midday, so you have
Uh,
4 to 6 hours before nightfall.
I'll just look around for some flowers.
Dara, how big of a area is to Celeste?
I, if we need to stay for 4 hours, we can. I mean, we've come this far off.
Yeah, it took you guys about a week to get to where you were. So because of the detour, you're still about 4 or 5 days from Celeste.
Yeah, I
wouldn't
can.
hurt.
No, it wouldn't hurt.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll get started on skinning this deer.
Yeah, I'll do what I say to help her better.
Okay. Argenta, are you trained in survival?
I am.
Okay, good. I'm going to need a total of 3 survival checks.
Okay.
The first one will be made with the disadvantage because you've never skinned a creature like this, and we'll see how much leather skin you can get. You'll have to find a way to cure it to turn it into leather.
Okay. The first one.
While she's doing that, I wanted to just find a random flower and pick it. And then walk up to Vala and just hold it up. Be like, is this Yellow Brick Road?
What kind of flower is it?
Actually, go ahead and roll me an investigation check to Tempest.
Oh, goody.
I rolled on the first one with disadvantage 11, and then the other two were a 16 and a 17.
Okay. So grand total, you get it was 11, 16, and 17, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Grand total, you get enough that if it was cured correctly, could make a set of dinosaur leather armor. As far as how that would be different from regular leather, that would depend on the armor smith or the leather worker making it. But as long as you can get to someone relatively soon before it goes bad, you should be have enough for a suit of dino armor.
Here's the hilarious thing, Lillian. I'm also trained with leatherworker's tools.
Oh, so if you'd like, it'll take about a day to cure the leather. But if you want to, because the skin will rot eventually.
Yeah.
So if you want to take a day now, or hope that it doesn't go bad by the time you get to Celeste, it'll take about that long to cure that much leather.
18 on my investigation.
Okay. So searching around, there's not a ton of floral life in this part of Fenrish.
I would just pick anything that resembled something, because I'm not sure if I know what a flower is.
Well, you do find something. As you're kind of searching through everything, you find this very kind of unique thing. It's got a bright color that just stands out against everything. It's yellow. This will be the first time you have seen something bright yellow. And as you pick it up, you bring it to Vala, who instantly recognizes a daisy.
Huh. Yeah. That is not a Yellow Brick Road. That is a, This is an odd coincidence. I think, this is weird for me saying this, you should stay close and not wander around too much. This place can be very dangerous.
Go ahead and give me a history check with Vala.
Oh, okay. That would be 24.
So, flowers are for flowers are for flowers are for flowers. Their petals are always a little bit different. The stems and the leaves, you know, each one is a little bit unique. For whatever reason, this one seems familiar. You don't know why. And as you're talking and saying, you should not wander around, suddenly dawns on you, you have seen this exact flower before in a vase.
Oh, God.
Now, the flower that he has is freshly picked.
Is there something bad?
Yes. Where did you find this?
Just over there.
Okay. Thank you. And I will... May I have this?
Yeah?
Thank you very much. I will put this in my pocket. This vase, was it, where did I see this vase at? Would it be...
You were, when you were younger, you were given a single daisy as a gift from someone who was courting you, and you took it to be polite. You took it and put it in a vase, and for whatever reason, like, there's a lot of that portion of your life that's very fuzzy. Some of it intentionally fuzzy, some of it not. That memory is burning in your brain right now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, do I see... Oh, I don't even know. But this was picked. This wasn't set here.
No. This is very obviously it was growing a few moments ago, which makes the fact that this is the exact flower you remember even more odd.
Okay.
You're also not aware of the daisies being particularly prevalent in Fenrish.
Argenta, I didn't know if you were still feeling arcane bullshit or portal bullshit or whatever it was you were feeling before.
I usually need to rest between those.
I think we should be very careful.
Well, I can actually cure the T-Rex myself. It'll just take a day.
And we're sure it can't wait until we're at the lair.
It could, but we don't have anything to preserve it. I don't think any of you have that magic.
What kind of magic would we need?
There's something that priests do to bodies. Well, it would be the same. I assume it would take about the same amount of time it would take me to cure it anyway. It's a large amount. If you want to camp and get to know our new friend some.
We can. And I pull out the flower. So, remember that vampire that's trying to kill me?
Yes.
He gave me a flower just like this one a very long time ago, and it was just like this one, and that just makes me nervous.
I'll just butt in. What's a vampire?
Oh God.
I'm very bad.
So they're these pale people. They have really sharp things like wolves, and they
Technically,
like
most of them have very dark ebony skin, since
Yes.
most of them are the dark elves.
true. If they're like Lillian, they're pale, but if they're dark elves, they're ebony skin. They have sharp fangs like wolves. They like to drink blood, and if you put them in sunlight or put them in a river, they die. Otherwise, they're very hard to kill.
So I'll point to Lillian. So, fire sword's a vampire?
No, Lillian's a human. They tend to get pale if they're human vampires.
Oh, man. Where are you going?
Lillian is kind of pale.
Yeah.
I kind of look at him and I'm just like, do you know what a human is?
What's that?
I am a guy. I think I'm gonna try a few things, guys.
Okay.
Excuse me. I will go over to our mystery friend and be like, "Can you sit here on the ground with me for a few minutes?"
Sure.
And I will ritually cast Identify on him to see if there's any spells or magic affecting him.
Interesting. As you cast the spell, Argenta, you get another blow to the stomach. But Vala, as you do that, there's no spell effects that you can identify.
Okay.
Basically, you kind of get a mental printout and nothing, but there's obviously something magical surrounding him, but it has no defined school of magic. There aren't any defined spells. It's just kind of a magic energy around him.
Well,
I felt that specifically when she did that, and I am not feeling it before or after.
No, literally, right as she cast the spell, you got a pain in your gut.
It's plainer bullshit. That's the type of magic he wields.
hmm.
As you watch as Argenta just kind of retches for a second.
Well, there is something I could try.
I start cowering behind my staff.
I could try to get rid of this magic.
I don't know what that would do though. If you don't know what it is, it's kind of like
I feel like there is something better about it.
yeah, they should learn more and cure this T-Rex.
Well, I mean, I can try lesser restoration. I can try dispel magic.
I don't think we should go poking at an engine we don't know the schematic. This is what wizards do when they die.
That's true. By the way, this speaking of peeing on the engine block, sorry, the ignition. The wound on my back.
Mm-hmm.
How is that? Is that healing?
Remind me where the wound is from.
That was where I had that disc that was preventing me from doing magic.
It for the most part it's healed, but it is a very noticeable scar.
Okay. That's cool.
And you're relatively certain that there is no magic that's going to affect that scar.
But it's just I have a scar on my back.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Sometimes in the mornings, like if it's rainy out, it'll ache a little bit there, but that's the worst of it.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I just wanted to circle back on that. So yeah, all right. Well, we can. He knows nothing, and we are in a very dangerous area. And I remember, I just don't want him to get. I just don't want him to breathe in any funguses.
I mean, you're a bard, right? Teach him his letters and his numbers while we're taking a day.
From what you can see, he speaks perfectly fine, so he understands common. However, specific like the definitions, like when he said the word human, he said it perfectly fine. He just has nothing to connect he knows the word. He has nothing to connect it with.
Well, maybe the
We need to take this boy to a library, and we know what a library is.
Well,
I
most
know.
of the library.
I don't know what that is.
Well, I didn't.
Yeah.
But those were.
Yeah.
A library is a place where people go to learn things. I'm just
Right.
telling them.
And we're going to this library?
Well, we're going to one of them, yes. There's many.
Oh, there's
The
more
place.
than one. Whoa.
Why did I imagine, like, suddenly you look like, what's his name? Whoa.
Oh, Keanu Reeves.
Keanu.
I almost joked about doing that for his personality. That's kind of funny.
So yeah, I
Go ahead.
I'm voting for curing the T-Rex now and then heading to Celeste.
I mean, we can. Yeah, that's fine.
Alright.
Yeah. Move it out to be a car. Around and maybe to
Vala, you stay with. I'm gonna call him Blue. You stay with Blue, and make sure neither of you Vala thing.
Is this really the best idea we have?
It's a buddy system.
I'll stay with them too.
Like the blind leading the blind.
Yeah, I
Red and Blue, you use fire magic, you use water magic.
Yes, now this is the part, Blue, where we sneak away from the group and get into trouble, and then they have to come rescue us. It's pretty fun.
That my name?
Also have a pretty massive amount of meat that you can start butchering up, and if you do make a camp here, you can cook some of it to eat. You can preserve some of it for rations.
Yeah.
Yep. I will assist. I've never butchered a T-Rex before.
I'll do that.
Don't worry, it tastes like chicken.
I was.
Yeah, it's a big chicken.
So with that, our Genta goes off to start building a drying rack. In order to actually cure this skin into leather, you need more than what you carry with you. But you can dry it and basically ensure that nothing will happen to it until you can get to the proper supplies.
Okay.
The rest of you, throughout the night and most of the next day, get basically about a week's worth of rations for everyone, plus very full stomachs, and still have. You only use to do all that. You only use about a quarter of the meat that's there. But with that is where we are going to end it for tonight. Again, if you missed any of the show due to tech difficulties or whatever, you can watch the entire thing on my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/TrainerJody. Otherwise, that's all for me today, and I will see you guys next time. All right?